Okay, so if you're watching this video, you want a little bit of help on the assignment today, which is going to be doing all of this stuff except for number 24. So what I'm hoping we did is I'm hoping we did these in class together, and I told you do these on your own. That is your assignment. That's what I'm planning on being your assignment. So if you're watching this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these with you, and then the only ones you're going to have to do on your own are going to be these on the right side. So I'm going to do just the middle for this video, and let's hope that extra assistance is helpful in getting you to be able to do the ones on the right on your own. So let's get started. So 15 through 20, it says write the number positioned at each point. And before we do that, first, let me see if I can do this. There's nothing to do, and that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little cheat sheet. If I haven't already told you this, this is going to be really helpful for you guys. And so you're going to have your name there, so let's put it on the left side. So here's a cheat sheet that's going to be really helpful, okay? You should know that 1/4, what that equals, what 2/4 equals, and what 3/4 equals as a decimal. You should know what those equal. Let me go here and here. 1/4 as a decimal is this. 2/4 is 1/2, and that as a decimal is that. 3/4 is going to be 0.75. So you just, if you can memorize that, that's going to be helpful. What I've told you before is think of quarters. Quarters are 1/4 of a dollar, and 1/4 is how much money? If you remember, 1/4 is 25 cents, and that's how you would write it. 2/4 is 50 cents. 3/4 is 75 cents. Now 50 cents is technically that, but it's the same thing as 0.5. So I hope that's helpful. We're going to go back to this chart a few times today. So number 15 we've already done. A, what's the number position? Oh, and what I'm going to tell you to do is write the number as a fraction and a decimal for at least these, maybe even more at the bottom. So A, -3, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So that's -3 and 1/4. We should have already done that in class, or -3.25. That giggling you hear is the AC that's slightly broken. Number 16. B. This right here, that's right in the middle of -4 and -5. So it's -4.5 or -4 and 1/2, because it's right in the middle. So right there. So it's -4 and 1/4, -4 and 1/2. Okay, and then D is 1, 2, 3 out of 4, and that's a -5, so it's -5 and 3/4. We should have done that in class. Or, and you see how we have 3/4 right here? 3/4 is -0.5, so it's going to be -5 and 0.75. Which means, now I'm going to have to write a little bit smaller. I'm going to switch this so you guys can see. So E, which is over here, so there's 1/4, there's 2/4, that is 3/4, and then 4/4 is equal to 1. So it's right here. That's 2/4 for E. Or it's 1/2, it's the same thing. Or that's 0.5 positive. You've got 3 possible answers, okay? One of the fractions is fine, but I also want a fraction and 1 decimal. So based on that, C, you're going to do on your own. Think about that. Just divide it into fourths. And then F, you can do that on your own as well. Class, if you can do B, you can definitely do F. All right, number 21, plot the numbers on the number line below. So for this one, -5.5, it's going to be right in the middle of -5 and -6. So that's where A is going to go. D is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, it's going to be easier for me to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are into tenths. This is negative 6 and 1/10, 2/10, and so on. So negative 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's negative 6 and 7/10. So right here, I'm going to put D. Now what we're going to do together is we're going to do B and E. So B and E, B is negative 6.3. So 1, 2, that's 3/10, negative 6 and 3/10, which is the same thing as negative 6.3. So that's where that goes. And then E, negative 4.9, it's going to be right before the negative 5. Okay? So that's 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. So remember that. Or 1/10. So here's your help. 1/10 is equal to 0.1. 2/10 is equal to 0.2, and so on. That's the pattern. 3/10 is equal to 0.3. So, for example, negative 5 and 4/10, you would go to negative 5.4, or vice versa. Negative 5.4 is equal to negative 5 and 4/10, whatever one's easier for you to understand. And then, number 22, I'm going to do these two right here. This one's tricky, but remember, there's 1/4, and when I told you 1/4 is equal to 0.25, and there's a negative 1 here. So we're really comparing both of these numbers on a number line. And on a number line, which one's going to be closer to 0? Well, on a number line, if this is 0, negative 1.25 is going to be there, and then you're going to have negative 1.44. So this is on the right side, so that is going to be closer to 0. And it's because it's on the right side, closest to 0, that makes it larger. So that's the answer to B. And then this is negative 2 3/4, which is the same thing as negative 2.75. So out of these two numbers, negative 2.25 is going to come. And I can actually show it to you, I think. Yep, here's negative 2.25 right here, and here's negative 2.75. So which one is the one on the right side? It's this one right here. So that's going to have the greater value than negative 2.75. And so this is going to be my answer. And that leaves me with 2 more to do. Sorry, I have a pet cat that won't be quiet.
Yeah.
No, it's... Sorry. Alright, now, B. Order the numbers from least to greatest. There's no absolute value here. It's just put them least to greatest. So here's the good news. There's one positive number that's going to go last. That's going to be the largest number. And then out of these 3 negatives, that's going to be equal to negative 0.8. That's going to be equal to negative 0.5. And then you have negative 0.2. And guess what? That's actually the order. So you're going to go negative 4/5, negative 1/2, negative 0.2, and then you have 0.25. These are going to be tricky for some of you, which is understandable. So just do your best. E, the 2 positives are going to go last, and the 2 negatives will go first. Negative 1/2, same thing as negative 0.5, and then negative 1/4. And then this is 0.75, remember. So that's going to go last, and 0.5 is going to go right there. So those are your 4 answers. 1, 2, 3, and then 4th. Hope that's helpful. Hope the video is helpful. If not, let me know.